Joe Biden is struggling to make money these days. I guess he was the front runner for a little while, but it seems like his poll numbers have fallen off since the whole Ukraine scandal. I think he was already struggling, but this whole Ukraine thing has knocked his number back, and it seems like Warren and Bernie are taking the lead here. But he's decided to start taking super PAC money, which may as well be his downfall because the one big thing that uh, Biden still had going for him was railing against super PACs. This is something no one agrees with, and as you'll see in this article, which I'm gonna skip around a little bit because I got a few different things that he's getting hammered for right now by Yang and Elizabeth Warren, and he's just getting out earned. I think he's currently in the red. I think it said about $2 million, and it's not looking good for Biden. I'm not sure what this means if he'll end up falling back to another vice president job or if somebody will even want him. He's not that popular. The whole Ukraine thing, no matter what ends up happening out of it, is bad publicity. And I'm not saying he's going to drop out because maybe the super PACs end up getting behind him. He's way more moderate than somebody like Bernie or Elizabeth Warren is, but I just don't see it happening. Maybe they start rallying behind somebody else. Let me read a little bit of this article. Biden super PAC reversal comes amid fundraising struggle. A super PAC being formed to provide the outside supporter for former Vice President Joe Biden's White House campaign could be up and running as early as next week. But a former Biden aide who is expected to play a major role in the group's effort, who asked for anonymity to speak more freely, emphasized that the formation of the super PAC is a sign of reality. Then Senator Biden struggled to raise campaign cash during his unsuccessful 1988 and 2008 runs for Democratic presidential nomination. But after serving 8 years as vice president, Biden's fundraising woes in his third White House bid has come as a bit of a surprise. Biden had just under $9 million in his campaign coffers as of October 1st, after spending more money than he raised during July through September fundraising quarter. That's far less than his top rivals, Elizabeth Warren, who reportedly had 25.7 million cash on hand, and Mr. Bernie Sanders, who reportedly had a whopping 33.7 in the bank. Before I make a note, I never made a video about it, but Trump is currently destroying all of these people in terms of what he is making. I think he pulled in over 100 million alone during that same quarter, crushing any of these people. And you got to remember that every dollar that goes to these guys isn't going to the other. It's currently spread out very, very wide between all the Democratic candidates with a year left to go. And every dollar they spend crushing each other is another dollar that's for Donald Trump. Every time Bernie Sanders puts out a video about Elizabeth Warren lying, every time Joe Biden comes up and they put another Ukraine video up about him, that's another thing that Donald Trump is probably just going to capitalize on, make a video about. But let me keep reading here a little bit. Biden raised $15.2 million during the third quarter, far less than the hauls by Sanders and Warren. He was also topped for a second straight fundraising period by South Bend, Indiana Mayor Pete Buttigieg. Sanders and Warren raised much of their money online using grassroots outreach to bring in smaller donors. Older voters like Joe's don't necessarily play to this online donor game, the aide tied to the super PAC explained, and we have to take reality the way we see it in terms of our donor base and what their resources are. And that's actually a pretty good statement here. I agree with that 100%. I'm surprised it doesn't do that for Warren either, but I think Warren has a lot of the female vote, and that includes all of them. So there's a lot of younger voters there. Obviously, Bernie gets a lot of the younger crowd, and Joe plays more to the middle, who a lot of times are much older. I'd like to see where his votes come from, but I'd have to assume 30 plus is the vast majority of his voters. I mean, obviously it's going to be that way for everybody. That's who generally votes, but it's probably skewed a lot more heavy for him. I'm going to skip a little bit because it's just describing that. I want to get to these quotes by Elizabeth Warren and Yang. It's disappointing that any Democratic candidate will reverse course and endorse the use of unlimited contributions from the wealthy to run against fellow Democrats. A handful of wealthy donors should not be allowed to buy the Democratic nomination. That's not who we are. I mean, that is a lie. That is who they are. If anybody watched the last Democratic nomination happen, that's exactly what happened. No matter what these people say, no matter what the super PACs, who they put their money towards, they still get the say in everything. That is who you are. I mean, to be honest, as much as I don't like it, how could you not take the money by the super PACs? It's just the amount of money you get from it is overwhelming, and it's how people like Clinton can earn so much more than everybody else, even with probably one of the most her being the most unpopular candidate of all time. I'd probably say. Let me skip down here. This one is by Mr. Yang, I believe. Mr. Yang said, Mr. Yang told Fox News and CBS News, "I'm not going to try and dissuade them because we have the rules that we have. After I'm president, I'm very happy to repeal Citizens United and try to do away with super PACs entirely. But given the rules that we have right now, my goal is to compete and to win, so I'm not going to dissuade private citizens from trying to help." And I mean, he's got a good point. When it comes to Yang, he's one of those people who doesn't necessarily need the money. He's kind of like Donald Trump, where he can put this kind of stuff out there because worst case scenario, he can help fund his own election. But until they change the rules, there's nothing you can do about it. He is right. Let me flick through here. This is just another video by NBC. I didn't end up watching, or I didn't have anything to read from there. But this is just a breakdown of all the what everybody's earning. Obviously, Trump right here with 165 million plus outside money of 80 million. Bernie Sanders 73. Democrat Warren 60 million. Pete Buttigieg. And way down here we got Tom Steyer, who I want to make a video about him because he may become a big name soon. Obviously, the Democrats were looking for someone else, and all of a sudden he's seems like he's storming in with enough donations and enough voting percentage where maybe he starts getting some of those votes that people like Kamala Harris couldn't get in. Pete couldn't get high enough. Yang couldn't get high enough. Maybe those people all come to Tom. Way down here, Joe Biden, 36 million. He earns right about what Kamala Harris does, and that's not good news for him. I think this one's by Politico. Says he's 1.9 in the hole, and this is why he's got to take the super PAC money. Even in his other campaigns, I don't know about 1988, but Joe Biden was never in the red for that, I don't believe. And what I find interesting here is Mr. Yang is just sitting on 5.5 million, if this is correct. This says of 10/15, but he's sitting on 5.5 million. I don't know what he's planning there, if he plans on making some kind of push, but he needs to start putting some money somewhere. If there's somebody I want to vote for who is a Democrat, it's either Mr. Yang or probably Tulsi Gabbard maybe. But she's way down here. She's in the red, 3 million. It's not looking good for any of these guys. I don't want to vote for any of these guys. Pete maybe. If Pete can get a better showing at one of these debates, maybe. But like I said, Steyer is going to be coming in here soon. Obviously, all this money he has banked up. He's got 2.6 in the bank right now, and he's been spending his butt off trying to get into these races. That's why his percentages are slowly going up. He was beating the drum on trying to get in, and I think it will be at his first one in November. And I may make a video just about Mr. Tom. So anyway, that is just a short update on the whole situation here, and it's not looking good for Biden, which we can all fist pump for. I'm not saying I'm biased here, but if there's one person I want out of this race, it's Joe Biden. He's not a good candidate, and he's not someone you should vote for. Same with Miss Warren. I'm not a Bernie Sanders fan. I don't like him either, but please get these people out. get these 80-year-olds out of here. All right, he'll take it easy.
My name is Gavin Lee, and this is my channel, LeeCast. Thanks for watching. I put out videos most days on current events, politics, and more. Please subscribe and give me advice on more of what you'd like to see and help me build this channel into not only a source for all things political and current for you, but also a place less polarized by political insanity, a whole lot more common sense and discussion, and a lot less two-party bias. Subscribe below and comment on what you'd like to see. Thank you.